trying to start this before it started raining, and it looks like I'm gonna be able to do that. Today, we are going to talk about a calorie deficit. And so this is going to be your calorie deficit for dummies 101 guide. If you haven't been on my channel before, welcome. My name is Alexis Joy and I make fitness and food content, and I am a certified personal trainer as well through the American Council of Exercise. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe what you want to see next, and that way you can stay on my channel and do what you want. Calorie deficit. There's going to be a few components we talk about in what makes a successful calorie deficit, but let's just go over what the heck is a calorie deficit in general. So a calorie deficit is eating less calories than you burn. Deficit into a little bit more of an image for you. So picture you burn about 2,500 calories in a day. Well, you're going to want to eat less than 2,500 calories, right? Research suggests that a deficit should be about 500 calories a day if you're trying to achieve weight loss in that time. So it can also vary based on multiple factors, like you might burn more than the average. I know you're probably like, Alexis, how the heck am I supposed to calculate that? Girl, I got you. Rather than showing you a big math equation and y'all trying to figure that out, there are websites that do this for you. I will put one down below that I rely on just to determine the calorie deficit. Your next question, it probably is like, Alexis, okay, so now I know what I need to do, like I know the number, but what's next? And y'all are gonna probably hate me, but that's okay. It is tracking. And don't get me wrong, you do not have to track 24/7. Personally, for me, I don't track 24/7, right? I actually took a break from a cut, like I explained in the past few videos, and I am just getting back started this upcoming week. So what I typically do is track during the week when I'm busy and I've got all the work stuff. And then on the weekends, I am intuitively eating, mindful eating, just not tracking. Because I think personally, if you're tracking for consistently every single day, it's not healthy and it drives you a little nuts. So I like to say, don't do it on the weekends. It gives you a little bit of a mental break and it's easier to continue to track. So that's my recommendation. You don't have to, but that's just what I do. Now, how are you gonna track? You really have a few options on apps, but my favorite is Chronometer. It basically does everything that MyFitnessPal does, but for free. They have a paid version of Chronometer. I'm not exactly sure what it does, but you get more for free on Chronometer than you do MyFitnessPal. Like I said, tracking really allows you to visually see how you are eating and what you are eating, instead of just trying to think off the top of your head what you might be eating. It gives you a visual. Especially for y'all who are visual learners, this allows you to see the habit and then you can adjust the habit from there. So what I typically recommend for my clients is, I'm not going to tell you anything wrong or like how you should adjust yourself in that first week. Just track everything you eat in that first week so you're becoming aware of, oh, this is how I normally eat. Maybe I need to change some stuff here or add more protein, or maybe I need to take away some carbs. Like there's a lot of ways to adjust. So try that. Maybe in that first week, you just record everything you eat and go from there. And it can be really helpful into seeing how much you've changed your habit as well. So once you start tracking and maybe you see how you want to change your habits, one of the biggest questions I've gotten from my clients is, how do I change to something more healthy? Well, like I said, you already tracked that first week of what you were eating. You can look back on that and just be like, how can I switch some of these out for healthier alternatives? I'll provide you with an example. Say you like hamburgers. We eat hamburgers a lot in my household. We grill out probably at least once a month, if not more. But how can you turn it into a healthier alternative? Burger bowl. Burger bowl takes out the bun and you're allowed to customize it more. and you'll probably end up having more hamburger meat, so that's more protein. So stuff like that, seeing like, hey, how can I adjust this version to be a healthier version of what you eat? What the calorie deficit is, how to achieve the calorie deficit itself. What are the two other factors that we're talking about that will maintain a successful calorie deficit? Because just the calorie deficit itself won't help you completely achieve a calorie deficit that you want. We talked about the calories you burn, and so that means exercise is going to play a big part into what you are doing and how your diet is going to stay successful. Basically, the physical activity guidelines for Americans recommends that adults do either 150 minutes to 300 minutes of moderate activity or 75 to 150 minutes of vigorous exercise per week. You can do either or even a mix of, but basically moderate intense exercise is taking a walk, doing some light cycling, or even some yoga, Pilates, that kind of thing. Vigorous exercising would be like jogging, running, cycling, some of those things that take more or raise our heart rate up a little bit more. If you maintain within those guidelines, that will help you, and that's the second factor of a successful calorie deficit. Another factor is especially for those who are trying to just lose body fat and not muscles. So if you're just trying to lower that body fat percentage and not the number on the scale, which I totally recommend any day instead of just trying to get small, this is where strength training is going to come into play. Muscle strengthening activities are actually going to help your body prioritize losing the body fat itself instead of losing that muscle mass and that just complete weight. So I guess this is where it depends on your goals. Like if you're trying to get small, then this strength training doesn't really matter for you, and that's just how it goes for some people. But what I highly recommend is strength training at least 2 days per week. It also falls under those guidelines we talked about earlier. If you can do this for 2 or more days per week, it'll help your body prioritize losing the body fat instead of the muscle mass. But yeah, so let's just recap. Make sure we all understand how to have a successful calorie deficit. So we already talked about eating less calories than you burn. So I recommend in between 300, 500 calories down than you burn. Also, so that's the calorie deficit itself. Then there's the exercise part where we are talking about that time per week of exercising. If you are, oh shit. Oh hell no! Final part is strength training. Like I said, this is going to be based on your goals, whether you're just trying to get small or just specifically lose body fat. But if you are trying to specifically lose body fat, strength training is crucial, and resistance training, and I recommend that 2 days per week. Yeah, so we've got those 3 factors: the calorie deficit itself, exercise, maintaining that moderate or vigorous activity, finally strength training. So all 3 components together will help you have a successful calorie deficit. And if you have any more questions, don't forget to leave them in the comments, or even tell me what you want to see next or what you want to know. I'm here to educate y'all, and so y'all are not looking clueless trying to continue your fitness journey. Speaking of your fitness journey, if you are struggling in that strength training area, like we talked about, I do online coaching. So feel free to DM me on Instagram and we can go further about that. And even in that coaching, I do calculate what a calorie deficit would be for you. So if you need some help with that, feel free to DM me on Instagram. And otherwise, I will see y'all next Monday with a new video. Bye.